Jai Hind everyone, my name is Ankita Rani. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today we discuss the topic characteristics of the graphical user interface. This topic comes under the subject human-computer interface and the subject code is KCS 058. So first we know about what is GUI or what is graphical user interface. So a graphical user interface is a type of user interface item that allow pupil to interact with program in more ways than typing. So in this, the program, we focus on the program rather than the typing. In this, we provide the interaction between the system and the user. So the example of GUI is computer. In computer, the examples like handheld devices like MP3 players are the examples of GUI, portable media players or gaming devices, household appliances and office equipment with images rather than text commands. So these are all the examples of graphical user interface because the graphical user interface focus on the program rather than the typing or rather than the any text command, we focus on the program. So a GUI offers graphical icons and visual indicators as opposed to text-based interfaces, typed command labels or text navigation to fully represent the information and actions available to a user. So it also provides some icons, some visual indicators. So through these indicators, the user can visually identify any item, any object, because they oppose to the text-based interfaces, and also they oppose the typed command labels, and also they oppose the text navigation because we focus on the some icons, some indicators, some visualization, some program in the GUI. So these are the characteristics of the graphical user interface. So a graphical system possesses a set of defining concepts. First characteristic is sophisticated visual presentation, pick and click interaction, a restricted set of interface options, visualization, object orientation, extensive use of person's recognition memory, concurrent performance of functions. So these are the characteristics which we are discussed in this video of the graphical user interface. So first is sophisticated visual presentation. So what is visual presentation? Visual presentation is the visual aspect of the interface. In this, the user can visually aspect every point of that system. It is what people see on the screen. The sophistication of a graphical system permits displaying lines, including drawings and icons. So this presentation is the sophisticated. So it also permits the displaying of a variety of character fonts, including different size and styles. The display of 16 million or more colors is possible on some screen. So in this visual representation, user can easily see the font size, font color, character fonts, font style. So the user can easily see all the styles because this is the sophisticated visual representation. So graphics also permit animation and the presentation of photographs and motion videos. In this, we also discuss about the photos, videos, videographies, animations. So the meaningful interface elements visually presented to the user in a graphical system, which include the windows like primary window, secondary window, or dialog boxes. It also includes some menus. In menus, we have some menu bar, pull down, pop up, cascading window. It also includes some icons for representing objects such as programs or files, assorted screen-based control. In assorted screen-based control, we have some boxes like text box, list box, combination box, setting, scroll bars, and buttons. So these all things are included in the visual representation in the graphics, and it also includes some mouse pointer and cursors. Next characteristic is pick and click interaction. So in pick and click interaction, we pick some icon and we select some icon and then we click on that icon. to perform any action. So element of a graphical screen upon which some action is to be performed must first be identified. First of all, we have to select the icon. For that, we have to click on that. So the motor activity required of a person to identify this element for a proposed action is commonly referred to as pick, the signal to perform an action as click. So when we selecting some icon, we have to click on that button, and by clicking on that button, this performs some action. So the primary mechanism for performing this pick and click is most often the mouse and its button. So we pick the icon with the help of the mouse, and we click on that icon with the help of buttons. So the user moves the mouse pointer to the relevant element like pick, and the action is signaled. So the action is called click. So pointing allows rapid selection and feedback. So the eye, hand and mind seem to work smoothly and efficiently together, because when we have to pick some icon, our eye and hand are working, and mind are also working for selecting that item. So the secondary mechanism for performing this selection action is the keyboard. So most systems permit pick and click to be performed using the keyboard as well. So we can also perform the pick and click action with the help of the keyboard. Next characteristic is restricted set of interface options. So the array of alternative available to the user is what is presented on the screen or what may be retrieved through what is presented on the screen, nothing less and nothing more. This concept fostered the acronym of WYSIWYG. So in restricted set of interface options, it means user have some restrictions for performing any options, like we in the screen we have nothing less and nothing more. We have only selected the relevant data which we have to present it to the user, which we have to present it on the screen. So with the help of the GUI, we can also restrict the interface options. Next is the visualization. Visualization is the main characteristics of the graphical user interface. So in this, visualization is a cognitive process that allows pupil to understand information that is difficult to perceive because it is either too voluminous or too abstract. So in visualization, we focus on the information which is difficult to perceive, because the information which is difficult to perceive or difficult to find that information, so visualization is very helpful for finding that information, because the information is difficult, because the information is either too voluminous or it is too abstract. Next is, it involves changing an entity's representation to reveal gradually the structure or function of the underlying system or process. So it also involves some changes in the entity representation, like you have represent some data in different entity. So during the process of the visualization, you can also change the entity. Next is the presenting specialized graphic portrayals facilitate visualization. So in visualization, we can also use some graphic portraits. We can also use some graphic portraits like this, which facilitate the visualization. So the best visualization method for an activity depends on what pupil are trying to learn from the data. So with the help of the visualization, we can also help to the pupil which are trying to learn from the data. So the goal is not necessary to produce a realistic graphical image, but to produce one that convey the most relevant information. So the main focus of the visualization is not only to produce the information, the main focus is to produce the relevant information relevant information which is very helpful for the user to perform any action, to perform any task. So effective visualization can facilitate mental insights, and it can also facilitate increased productivity and for faster and more accurate use of data. So with the help of the visualization, we can also process the faster information or more accurate information for the user. So with the help of the visualization, we produce some important information, some relevant data, which is very helpful for the user to perform any task, to perform any action. Next characteristic of graphical user interface is object orientation. So in object orientation, we basically focus on the objects. So a graphical system consists of objects and actions. Objects are what people see on the screen. They are manipulated as a single unit. So in object orientation, what is object? Like object is what we have to see on a screen. Like in a screen, there are some icons. Like this is some icons which we have to see on the screen. Like this is the icon. So object is the thing which we have to see on the screen. So they are manipulated as a single unit, and these all objects are considered as a single unit. So a well-designed system keeps user focused on object, not on how to carry out actions. Object can be composed of sub-objects. So in object orientation, we mainly focus on the objects, not on the actions, because object is divided into some sub-objects. Like this is the main object and these two are the sub-objects. So container object are object to hold other objects. So like this object can hold some another object, and that another object is called as container object. So they are used to group two or more related object for easy access and retrieval. So if this object can hold the another object, and this is called as container object. This is called as container object. So this container object can group two or more objects for the easily access of information and for easy retrieval of that information. So basically there are the three kind of container object. First is the workplace, second is folders, and third is work areas. So there are the three main container object which is holded by some another object. So the workplace is the desktop. This workplace is the desktop. Next is, so the workplace is called as a desktop, the storage area for all objects, because in desktop we store all the object, we store all the applications, all the apps, all the icons are stored in the desktop, which we can show, which we can see in our desktop. Folders are general purpose containers for long term storage of the objects. So this is the general purpose. So folders are the general purpose containers. So work areas are temporary storage folders used for storing multiple objects currently being worked on. So these work areas are the temporary storage folder. Temporary storage folder means we can store the temporary information. Temporary storage folders. So there are basically three types of container object. First is workplace. Workplace is the desktop. Second is folder. Folder is the general purpose. Third is the work area. Work area is the temporary storage folder, and these all are comes under the object orientation. So in object orientation, device object represent the physical object in the real world, such as printers or trash baskets. These objects may contain others for acting upon. A file, for example, may be placed in a printer for printing of its content. So device objects are, so there are the two type of object. First is the object in software form or object in the hardware form. So in hardware form, the physical objects like, for example, printer. So the task of the printer is printing some documents, or another physical object is like trash baskets. So Microsoft Windows specifies the characteristics of objects depending upon the relationship that exists between them. So object can exist within the context of other object, and one object may affect the way another object appears or behaves. So all the objects are dependent to each other. If one object is affected, so they also affect the another object. So these relationships are called collections, constraints, composites and containers, because in this we use the container object. So with container object, all the objects are dependent to each other because one object is whole to the another object. So that's why if one object is fail, then they fail the whole process. So a collection is the simplest relationship, the object sharing a common aspect. So a collection might be the result of query or multiple selection of object. So operation can be applied to a collection of the objects. So a constraint is a strong object relationship. Firstly, this collection is a simplest relationship, and this constraint is a stronger object relationship. So in a stronger object relationship, if we changing an object in a set affect some other object in the set. So a document being organized into pages is an example of a constraint. Like if we have some project report, or if we have some file with a list of documents with documents, so is called as a constraint. Next is composite. So in composite exist when the relationship between object becomes so significant that the aggregation itself can be identified as an object. So the example of composite includes a range of cells in which cells are organized into a spreadsheet, or a collection of words organized into a paragraph. So if we are using the some spreadsheet like in Excel form, or collection of words like if we are using some MS Word, then this comes under the category of the composite. Next is the container. So a container is an object in which other object exists, because one container can hold the another object. So the examples of container include a text in a document or document in a folder. So for example, if we have one folder and this folder consists of some documents, some text, then this is called as container. A container often influences the behavior of its content. So it may add or suppress certain properties or operations of objects placed within it. So a control access to its content or control access to kind of object it will accept. So these relationships help define an object type. Similar traits and behaviors exist in objects of the same object type. Another important object characteristics is persistent. So the another characteristics of object is persistent. In persistence is the maintenance of the state once it is established. So an object state, for example, what is object state? Like this is the maintenance of the state. So in this we have to talking about the object state. What is object state? Object state is like window size, cursor location, scroll position and so on. These all are comes under the category of the object state. So an object state should always be automatically preserved when the user wants to change that state. For example, a window size can user easily change, cursor location can user easily change, scroll position so these are the things can user easily change. Next characteristic is properties or attributes of object. So object also have properties or attribute. In object orientation, we talk about the objects. So object also have some properties or attributes. Like pen is an object. So what are the attributes or what are the properties of pen is like its color, or like its work, like its operation. Its operation is writing. The work of the pen is writing. Pen color. So this is the so pen is an object and it also have some properties or attributes. Properties are the unique characteristics of an object. Properties help to describe an object and can be changed by the user. For example, if we use wants to blue pen, if you want to use red pen, so user can change the object property as they want. So for example of properties are text style. So when you are using text, writing some text, the user can easily change. Firstly, they use the normal style. After that, they use the italic style. For example, font size. First, the user can use the font size of 10. After that, 10 point. After that, they use the font size of 12 point. After that, they use the font size of 16 point. So the properties can easily changed by the user. Or window background color such as black or blue. So these all are the things, all are the object properties of the object which can be easily changed by the user as per the convenience of the user. Next characteristics of graphical user interface is use of recognition memory. In use of recognition memory, continuous visibility of object and actions encourages use of a person's more powerful recognition memory. The out of sight, out of mind problem is eliminated. So in this, use of recognition memory means we continuously recognize the memory of an object. We continuously visible the objects, like continuously monitor the object and actions. We continuously monitors the actions on the object. So use of if we want to continuously continuously tracking any object, so with the help of the recognition memory, we can easily track the object's activity or object's actions. Next characteristic is concurrent performance of a function. If you are using some function in the system, then you can check their performance. So graphic system may do 2 or more things at one time. Multiple programs may run simultaneously. Because the graphical system is a multitasking system, multi-programming system. So in this, we perform multi-programming. In multi-programming, multiple program can run simultaneously. It means the system can perform 2 or more things at the same time. So when a system is not busy on primary task, it may process background task. So if you are doing one first task, it means like when a system is not busy for primary task, it means the system is not performing a primary task, then the system can run the background task. The system can perform the background task. So when applications are running as truly separate tasks, the system may divide the processing power into time slices and allocate portions to each applications. So if the system can work in slots, in time slots, so the processing power can easily divide into that slot, like primary task, secondary task, tertiary task. So the processing power can easily be divided, and we easily allocate the time slots of that task, and we simply allocate the portions to each applications. So the data may also be transferred between programs, because all the programs need some data to perform any task. So it may be temporarily stored on a clipboard for later transfer, or be automatically swapped between programs. Like you can do swapping of the program, and you can copy that program on the clipboard, so the data are stored on your system. So thank you. These are the characteristics of graphical user interface, and graphical user interface helps between the interaction of the system and the user. Thank you.